So, with 715 looming, lots of people are asking me the question, should I re-roll? And one man in particular is re-rolling. So
I didn't ask you though, mate.
Discussion. No, you didn't ask me. You made the decision on re-roll. And you have decided to call it a day with the old Demon Hunter.
I have, mate. I
have actually read a lot of people are giving up on the Demon Hunter now. Maybe the nooks and crannies are starting to show.
Yeah.
So this is a good opportunity for other people who are considering re-rolling. What made you make the decision? And was it coming over time? Was it sudden? Was it because you weren't getting enough loot? Was it because of the DPS? Was it because of all the millions of reasons people think they should re-roll?
To be honest, pal, it was... just a bit of backstory on it is... Obviously, we saw the reveal. It looked beautiful. Finally get to be a Demon Hunter. Awesome. Leveling, same as. I could mess around with my talents. I could pick what was fun. Play around with that. But then when it got to raiding, the shine started to come off, but I maintained hope. Through different trial and error of talents. I wasn't asked about gear, I wasn't asked about my DPS. But what seemed to be the overarching thing was I managed to hold off on Demon Blades for as long as possible.
What's interesting about Demon Blades in specifically is when I did the review of the Demon Hunter in the alpha and the beta, is I looked at that talent and said this needs removing. Like the first day the Demon Hunter came out, I was like, this is terrible, this needs to go. And when I did the final conclusion on it at the end of beta, I was like, I think this class is amazing, but there are particular talent choices that I would, if that was the best for raiding, I could never play this class. Yeah. And Demon Blades was probably the spell particularly I was talking about.
But that was it. It was, for a while, you could get away with having prepared, which obviously increases your regen if you use your retreat. But it come to the point with, when was it now? It was at 7.1 basically. With the change that they made to Demon Blades, it was just a case of, yeah, this is the cookie cutter now. You can't use prepared, use Demon Blades, which obviously then takes off another button in your arsenal.
What does Demon Blades do? For anybody who doesn't play Demon Hunter, what does it do?
Demon Blades, basically, it will give your auto attacks a 75% chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate fury.
Which is your resource.
Which is my resource.
At the cost of?
At the cost of replacing it with Demon's Bite, which is basically your button press activator.
It's your filler.
It's your filler, yeah.
It takes your filler off your bars, and instead of having to press any filler, you just don't.
No.
And you basically wait for Demon Blades to proc to press your other buttons.
It's boring. It's
so
boring.
Because you're not under gear. This isn't a case of it's solved with gear or anything like that. It's just you basically stop doing that.
I mean, like at first, Demon's Bite wasn't. Demon's Blade wasn't the biggest problem. It was momentum because before 7.1, I didn't have to take Demon Blades. I was quite happy. Well, happy enough with prepared.
Yeah.
And momentum did get me down, especially in a lot of melee unfriendly fights where positioning's a big thing.
I would say, especially for your personal playstyle, because a lot of people will probably say, I love momentum, momentum's great, and I love it. But because you raid from here in the office, I've been able to watch you play, and you naturally move around a lot.
I can't help it.
Yeah, you can't help it. That's your playstyle. And a lot of people are the same. Like, I naturally jump a lot. And people hate it when they see the videos. It's like, why the fuck are you jumping all the time? It's like, that's my habit while I'm playing. It keeps my fingers moving. I like it. It always keeps me, so I'm not stopped dead. I like that when I'm playing. I just tap my thumb and it's something for my thumb to do so it doesn't come restless. I've always done it. And for you naturally sort of like wiggle around a lot. And then you're adding in momentum in that, and occasionally you can run into definite problems with momentum.
Well, that's it, like taking the additional damage, and then like we just said then in 7.1, with the addition of Demon's Blade as well, that was like the last piece of hope. Obviously, it's not an excuse and it's not a reason, but like obviously our legendary ring that gives you increased fury from Demon's Blade, I didn't have that, and I just had to take it anyway, and it was so boring. It was so boring.
It's really amazing how... Because a lot of people don't get it when you're in the raiding scene, is like, well, just don't take that talent, right? Just don't take that talent. It's something we accept if you want to be raiding Mythic, because you've killed Mythic Xavius, you're doing Mythic Trial of Valor. Is something we accept that, when we're in the open world, I'll spec whatever the fuck I want.
Absolutely.
And it often confuses people on stream. It's like, why are you spec'd into like Incancer's Flow on your Fire Mage? It's because when I'm doing leveling, I'm not dropping
I'm not raiding.
Power.
I'm having to play around.
I don't need to do that. When I'm raiding, though, I absolutely take what's best for
Of
my
course.
character, because that's part of the top end raiding game. That's just a part of it. It's as simple as flasking.
Yeah.
Is of course you're taking the best talents for the job. That's what we do, and we accept that. And there are occasions, and the Demon Hunter specifically definitely has this, is where you can have a talent that literally makes the specs so bad that you're just not having fun, and you might be in there for 4 hours a couple of nights a week, and you're like, this is just not enjoyable doing this over and over and over and over again. Which is just, I get where you're coming from. It's a combination of little things that have just added up over time. Because I know you didn't particularly like some things a while ago.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where it's like, I've
It's
had
overbearing.
enough.
It takes control.
Yeah, and it's all you think about. I think once you focus on something that you really dislike about your spec or your class, it's all you
Gets
think
worse.
about. Yeah, it's all you think about, and you're just like, I can't be fucking bothered with this. It's annoying me.
Yeah, it's weird though, because when it got to the point of raid progression, I invested absolutely everything into it and didn't resent having to do that, having to cap things like fishing and archaeology and stuff like that. This is it. This is my class.
Yeah, the same with
So
my
I want it
mage.
to be capped.
I mean, I only play my ult on stream, which is just because we're doing it for work.
Yeah.
In terms of my WoW time, it's 100% mage all the time. 100%. Because I want to be invested in that one character. I want to make sure he's cutting edge. I want to make sure he's got everything he can be there. So the decision to reroll, particularly, I mean, let's ask the next question then. So those are the why rerolling. Before we get to what you're rerolling to, what I want to ask, and I'm sure is a big problem amongst everybody else who's considering re-rolling, is how do you feel now about the fact that you'll be able to re-roll? You're in a guild that's raiding. Gear won't be a problem. But this is Legion. Artifact knowledge is going to be a fucking thing. And we know that's getting buffed to 715, so you'll be able to skip to 20, I believe.
Yes, that's something else that I was going to bring up, is the fact that I would have re-rolled sooner if it was, because I was holding on to the hopes that maybe, I could find a difference in how I play to enjoy it, purely because I didn't want to play catch up with an Alt's artifact weapon that I may potentially not capped yet.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize this, and because especially if you're not at sort of like bleeding edge artifact power where you've got your paragon levels, and some people are working on like the 3rd and 4th ones now, your artifact knowledge goes up, which is the amount per time you get. It's the sheer quantity required that needs to be done. You're missing now months of world quests.
Absolutely.
Months of daily heroics. And it doesn't matter really in the early stages, even if you bump it all the way up to 15, 20, is that you still have to get the physical items.
Yeah.
Those have to get into your inventory somehow. And I don't fancy that. I mean, people keep asking me if I'm re-rolling because of the mage changes. And I'm like, no. No.
Does that play a factor to you though in that decision?
I knew it never would, because I took so long into consideration that that's why I chose the mage, particularly that I made the choice. I don't really want this to be about me, but as I liked other classes or specs better than the mage.
Yeah.
In beta, I did. I liked Windwalker better. I liked Shadow Priest better. This was before they were flavor of the month and all that fucking nonsense that people throw out. I was like, I really enjoy this playstyle, but I don't like their other specs.
Oh, okay.
So when it came to the mage, although the fire mage wasn't my number one choice, neither was arcane, neither was frost. The fact of the matter is, should I be in a position where Blizzard might do what they're doing in 715, which is wreck my current spec, which might happen, might not. If I had to go arcane or frost, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. So I shouldn't be in the position where I'm re-rolling because of my spec. It was a big consideration I had there, is what if I'm asked to play this? What if I'm asked to play that? Do I like all 3 specs? Which I think is really important. And plus, you only have 2 specs. And was that something that was getting on your tits a little bit with the Demon Hunter?
Kind of, yeah. I would have liked a bit of variation. But on the flip side is, I know that they're not viable raid tanks, but it was fun tanking,
Yeah.
Like, just heroics and mythics, it was fun to tank, but that was never going to be a main for me. I'm never going to main tank. It's just I don't have the patience for it. But not having a variation of a DPS is a bit disheartening as well. Yeah, but I knew that before picking one, and at the time did enjoy the play of it. I just didn't think that my mindset had altered that much when it came to mythic progression.
Well, I think it's important to know how much the little things can build up over time.
Absolutely,
Those
yeah.
little things will start to get on your fucking nerves, and it'll just be more and more and more. So the big question is then, you, as far as I know, you narrowed it down to 2.
2, mate, yeah.
Which were 2 really good choices, I thought. You take the lead.
The most fun I have in game is melee DPS. That's it. I enjoy melee DPS. I don't like ranged. I don't mind hunters, but I don't want to get into that, barrel of crazy just yet. So I narrowed it down to a rogue and a rep paladin.
What was your thought behind that? Was it visuals? What research did you do?
A mix. I've always, every expansion since vanilla, I always end back on a rogue.
Yeah.
Because I just enjoy it the most. It's the visuals, the style of play, even... I guess you could call it RP, the RP value of being a rogue, of an assassin, but I've always enjoyed at least 2 of the 3 specs of rogue.
Yeah.
I just always have. Rep Paladin, I've not actually played for a long time. And it wasn't originally on the cards. I did level as Prot, and I've been actually keeping his artifacts up to date.
Yeah, you already have a capped Paladin.
I do have a capped Paladin, and that it came into the mix because he was capped, and his artifacts... knowledge has been kept up to date.
Oh, so you thought it'd be an easier transition than something drawing
absolutely,
you to it.
Yeah, with my rogue, I'm having to cap my rogue, but with my paladin, as well as the changes that have just come in for rets, I thought, well, that could be a front runner as well. So I'm going to cap my rogue. I'm going to try them both out in a raid environment when I cap and just see what's going on over time. I've got to say, though, admittedly, I'm probably leaning to rogue.
Yeah, I think that's a wise decision based on what you just said there, is that you were considering rep paladin because it would be the easier switch. And I think a lot of people consider that as well, because I want to re-roll is a decision that you can come to relatively easily. It's like, I want to re-roll. What do I re-roll to? You're kind of back to square one pre-Legion. And then you will be things like, well, my artifact knowledge is... I mean, I capped a shaman for herbalism purposes, and I know his artifact knowledge is better. Maybe I should just go shaman so it's easier. And I think you really have to weigh up the where your situation is, where you have a capped paladin, you've got artifact knowledge. Yeah, I can get there a little bit quicker. But I think I want to be a rogue.
Yeah.
And that's something that's in your mind already. It's like, but I think I want to be a rogue. And that's not capped. And that is going to be behind. But in 3 months' time... will that matter?
Exactly.
Probably not, because you'll be able to catch up. Again, we do have the 715 artifact knowledge catch-up system coming in. You will be able to speed through it if you're determined a little bit, and you'll get the gear to go along with it. You can get all your DPS talents pretty quickly, which is nice. I would definitely think that's something people need to consider, is the easiest route isn't always the best.
No, as well as, if it's actually a multiple choice in your mind, and you do take the easier route, then maybe... it's going to reduce your fun at a quicker rate and you're going to resent picking that class up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're picking something for ease of use and you haven't put in a lot of hours, because like you say, it's taken you nearly 3 months to come to this decision. It can take that long for you to figure out this isn't really for me. That's a pretty normal process, is you can play a class for a long time, and a lot of people play the class they first rolled with, when they started the game. That's my class. And it's like, well, you didn't try the others. There might be something there that you really love, and there might be others you really hate, obviously. And it could take you 3 months to be like, this is really starting to annoy me now. This is really getting on my nerves. And rushing to change just for the sake of changing. I want to re-roll. I'm going to change to something really quick, particularly in Legion's environment. That can be a little risky. You need to put in that same research you should have done, or could have done at the beginning of Legion, to then figure out, okay, this is what I'm going to go with. And especially if you've got some history, like you say, you've been a rogue multiple times over many expansions.
Yeah.
Were you ever a main rogue?
I was in. I was a rogue and paladin in vanilla. TBC, I was a paladin. Lich King, rogue and paladin again. Bloody hell!
Blood DK.
There's a pattern. Oh, the blood DK, yeah, of course. Yep. Cataclysm, I was a rogue fully, and Mop, I was a rogue before I quit, and then I came back as demon. No. WOD. I didn't do WOD at all, did I? Until the end of it.
Lucky.
No. Yeah, I came back to the end of WOD as a rogue and started as a demon hunter here. So yeah, in every expansion, at some point,
you seem to keep drifting back to it, which is odd that you don't make that decision. I think. Would you say, as we kind of close out on this one, would you say that it was the visuals of the demon hunter that really drew you to it initially?
I'd be lying if I said it didn't have a little bit to do with Illidan as well, but. Visuals is a big thing for me in any character or class that I play. It's more than mechanics. I don't give a shit about DPS. I want to enjoy the character's looks and the feel of play of the character,
100%. And it's so hard to get that message out there. It's so hard. Especially, I see it daily when we're streaming. Daily in YouTube comments is people dropping in like, what's the best healer? And this has come up again today before we filmed this, is they're all really balanced right now. And I saw the same guy go, because we were like, they're all really balanced. You play whatever you want. Play whatever you think's most fun. And that's not really a good enough answer for a lot of people. It's like, well, I want to play the best one. I was like, well, they're all pretty balanced. So I noticed that a few minutes later, came back and went, which one does the best DPS?
Oh my god!
And it's like,
get out of that
I'm
mindset.
not sure what you. Yeah, that mindset's really bad because you're looking. What you're looking for isn't what's going to help you get any good at this game or do any well.
Or enjoy it.
Or enjoy it. You're going to be playing. That's the flavor of the month attitude. Is like, oh well, currently blah 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 is dominating. Well, that blah 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 might have gear that you'll never have access to.
Yeah.
It might have had RNG you will never be able to pull off, or do something gameplay wise you're not capable of doing yet. What you need to look for is something you enjoy, and guess what? All that stuff that guy's doing that gives him those results, that's going to arrive at you somewhere. That's going to get there. So you're going to cap. So what is your final decision? Although you are leaning towards Rogue.
Yeah, so what do you mean?
When are you going to actually be like, here we go, I'm doing it?
Once I've given both a fair trial in raiding, it might only just be normals or heroics. It probably will be normals and heroics, but probably, I don't know, maybe I'd say tops 2 weeks. That doesn't mean I'll be straight into raiding in 2 weeks. Obviously, I've got to build my gear back up, but I'm probably going to say tops, it's going to be 2 weeks.
Okay, well, good luck to you anyway. And
Thanks,
wave
mate.
bye-bye to Slade as he drifts off into the quiet night.
It's my favourite character
You've got
name.
the
And he's
hidden,
gonna go away.
hidden artifact skins.
I've
man.
got both hidden artifact skins.
Well, now you've got 3 more to work on anyway.
I know.
All right. See you later, guys. I
Peace
hope that
out,
helps. The whole purpose of this conversation, of course, was to, if you are considering it, the things you need to think about.
like just like as a closing point is the Demon Hunter is everything that I wanted to play in a class. It still should be because I'm more leaning towards visuals than actual mechanics, but I'm just not enjoying it as much as I would other things. So don't let the fact that maybe, well, if you're not enjoying it, just give something else a try is what is my point that I'm saying, mate.
See you later, guys.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.